Straight up, if you consider the stakes and the context, this is one of the craziest endings to a game I've ever seen, and also one of the most brutal ways to lose a game. Let me set the stage. Game 4 of the PWHL Walter Cup Finals, Minnesota is up 2-1 in the series with a chance to win it all and take the Walter Cup home in double overtime. It's 0-0. The goalies have been brick walls. Near the end of the second overtime, number 1 pick Taylor Heise comes flying down the wing, charges the net, loses the puck, but her teammate gets the rebound and Minnesota wins it. First ever PWHL champions, but wait, big oof. After Minnesota throws off their gloves and helmets and sticks go flying, the referees take another look and the goal is called back for goalie interference. And in my opinion, probably the right call. I mean, the goalie clearly cannot control their crease and make an unobstructed attempt at the puck. But to make this call, well, it's not easy and a total gut punch for Minnie. The players were already crying in tears at the thought of winning the first league title, only to have it ripped away and be left having to figure out where your gloves went, which you just threw in the air. I don't think I've ever seen that happen in a championship game before, but, and I can't believe I'm saying this, shout out to the Nuggets on the refs again for calling this one and getting it right. You know that ref deep in their bones did not want to make the call to the home crowd, but you have to get it right. They ruled that it was because of footing, not the defender, that the player collided with the goalie, so it's a clear case of interference. I will note, Brandon, we talked about this, actually disagrees. He thinks the call was wrong. You know, he's a speedy little gremlin on the ice like Heise. When we play hockey, and he says it's just a power move towards the net without malice, with an unfortunate outcome for Boston, but he's wrong. And he's also the Leafs guy on our two-man team, so he's probably a little biased against Boston sports. Anyway, after the goal was called back, you just knew Boston was going to win it, and the wind was gone from Minnesota's sails, and they were left dead in the water. They turn it over on a sloppy zone exit. Boston grabs it, gets it to Mueller, who fires off an absolute rocket to the back of the net as Boston takes it 1-0 in double OT to force a final Game 5. And they run off the ice. It reminded me of the Florida Panthers doing that last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. They don't leave any time for review, and I love it. Also, shout out to the PWHL's final production. I love the finals logos on the ice. Chef's kiss for those. If you haven't realized it already, the NHL doesn't really do that anymore. You need the ad space to sell things. So, I don't know. It might sound dumb in a way, but as a team and a rink, I love that you have the ability to earn that paint on the home ice. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old head now, but I enjoy the little extra razzle-dazzle on the ice come playoffs. And now here we go. Series tied up 2 apiece with the final Game 5. Winner takes all game to crown the first ever PWHL championship coming this Wednesday night. I will be in the chat for this one as I was in the past. There were like 40,000 people watching the game live on YouTube, which was really cool. So I can't wait. And for the last time for this PWHL season, I'll ask you, who do you have to win it all? Boston or Minnesota? Let us know below.
At FanDuel, we speak hockey. That's why we give you more ways to bet on the NHL, like betting on a clapper to light the lamp. Bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Man, things started so well for the Oilers in this one. Zach Hyman, 2 minutes in. The crowd is absolutely buzzing. The momentum's on their side. Then, really not long after, McDavid's able to shovel one in. Pretty quickly, the Oilers had a 2-0 lead and all the momentum. The game didn't look over by any stretch, but it certainly looked like it was theirs to lose, and they honestly dropped the ball in a pretty brutal way. Full credit to Jason Robertson and the Dallas Stars. I mean, they came out with such resilience. They refused to let the Oilers have this one. And after not scoring for 10 straight playoff games, Robertson gets 3, a hattie. And he was by far the biggest reason why the Stars took Game 3 and the series lead here. And honestly, the moment where I was like, okay, this is starting to turn here. If the Oilers don't wake up, it's really not going to be good for them, was the Darnell Nurse butt block. Because to me, that was like, all right, Dallas is pushing here. The Oilers are getting lucky that these aren't going in. It feels like it's a matter of time. And wouldn't you know it, 3 minutes after the butt block, Jason Robertson blasts one in on Skinner. I don't think that's his fault. The Oilers couldn't get the puck out of their own end for a while. Plus, you leave one of the most dangerous goal scorers on the Stars with a relatively uncontested shooting lane. It's not really surprising that he's going to take a great shot. I don't really blame Skinner on that one. Then on the second goal, sure, I guess you could talk about Skinner's rebound control, that's fair, but all 5 Oilers on the ice here doing a horrible job at protecting the house and getting the puck cleared out of their own end. That's what ultimately results in Robertson getting that juicy opportunity in the slot. Just brutal defensive play and puck management by the Oilers in their own zone, and because of it, you piss away a 2-goal lead, basically in the blink of an eye, which in the playoffs is completely brutal. And it got even worse a couple minutes later. Desharnais has to get the puck out of his own zone here. This cannot happen. He had the time, he had the space, he had his D partner to use, who had zero pressure on him, by the way. If Darnell Nurse gets the puck here, it's a much cleaner and easier breakout. I love Desharnais, you guys know that. I've come out and sang his praises a couple of times this year, but there's just absolutely no reason that turnover should have taken place. Because of it, it turns into a fire drill for the Oilers in their own zone. Everybody's either puck watching or puck chasing, and because of it, Wyatt Johnston basically gets a gift, and the Stars have the lead. And I can't believe this stat, dude. 3 goals for Dallas in the second period before I even think it's a shot on goal. That's awful. And I know Adam Henry came back and he tied the game at 3, so they didn't just roll over and give up after the Stars took that 3-2 lead. But still, man, that's such a horrible way to let the game slip away when you've got a 2-goal lead in your own building in a really key game in the series. If I'm an Oiler or an Oiler fan, I'm fuming about that. And then on that third Robertson goal, speaking of fuming, I can almost hear Henrik Lundqvist just seething about Skinner going down in the RVH there. Robertson goes around his blocker, banks it off his backside and in. That's your game-winning goal. Look, Skinner made a lot of great saves in this game. I don't want to crush him. I really don't think a lot of these goals were his fault, but that one he absolutely has to have. Similar to that Desharnais turnover being unacceptable, I put this in the same boat. I mean, you cannot have this happen in a game of this magnitude. That's a tough one for the Oilers to swallow. The good news, though, is it's only 2-1. You get another game in a couple of days. There's plenty of series left and plenty of time to correct the cavalcade of mistakes that happened in this one. And if I'm a Dallas fan, man, am I happy about this one, especially like I mentioned, Jason Robertson breaking that 10-game goal drought with a hat trick. I mean, you got to be ecstatic considering that he's one of your most important players, that he broke out like this in this one. I mean, it's huge. As usual, give me your thoughts on this one in the comments. What do you expect is going to happen in the next game? Your expectations for game 4. Let me know. That's always super interesting to read. Please like and subscribe for more coverage of this series and both of these teams. I'll see you in the next one. You're awesome.
What if I can't make it to the game because of